and did it just jump? It just jumped because it hadn't started yet. Let me try that again. Happy Monday, Merry Makers. So boy. And welcome to another Merry Making Monday. I am Becca. Today, if you're new to Merry Making Monday, I will just briefly go over what it's all about. So Merry Making Mondays are about me showing you how to make something. Usually usually crocheted or knitted. Apparently I need to slow down a little bit because I'm excited about today's project. As we all know, Easter is around this corner, and some of you may or may not be familiar with this little kit that I got from my local art store. And I can show this on the internet because it is available for free on the internet. They include the website here, which I will include in the description of this box, description of this video. Apparently I am running the struggle bus hard today. So that if you want to, you can go to the website, print out your own instructions, and follow along with me. Alright. So, technically, you do not have to knit this. I will be showing you how to knit this, but you could easily make your square by doing crochet. Either single crochets or half double crochets. I would not go, because it's supposed to be solid, I would not go to a full double crochet. And if y'all would like to see that tutorial, just comment below. Alright, so let's get started with today's tutorial. Oh, and warning, it might be a little bit longer because it is a step-by-step tutorial. So, let me show you what is in this kit. We're going to be 100% working from the kit as much as possible. We've got some fuzzy yarn, which is very soft to the touch, nice light blue for Easter, a nice handful of polyfill, a length, I'd say about 2 feet, maybe 3, of a just worsted white yarn. You would think I would have had this pulled out beforehand. The kit comes with some size 7, I don't know if you can see that, size 7 knitting needles. And then it has a little notions pouch. Inside the notions pouch, we've got some brown thread, a yellow ribbon, and a plastic darning needle. Might need scissors though, so let me go get my scissors and we'll jump right in. Alright, I now have my scissors so we can start. Let's see. So let's say it says step 1, cast on any numbers of stitches you choose. In the example shown, 30 stitches with a UI 7 size knitting needle and worsted weight yarn. Now with the halo, this is larger than worsted weight. Plus I don't want the stuffing falling out. So I'm going to cast on a little bit less. I'm going to cast on 25. And I'm going to use what is called a type of cast on that's called a knit cast on. Let me change my angle here just ever so slightly. There we go. A little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to step through this a little bit step by step. Mama G, this is for you. She said the other day she didn't even know how to cast on, and I was like, well, as a person who knows about knitting, I should show her. So you start with a slip. Sorry, my phone's going off. I'm going to move it farther away so that hopefully you don't hear it. Start with a slip knot, and you put that on your hook. All right. So I am right-handed, so everything I'm going to be showing you is from a right-handed point of view. So if you're left-handed, I definitely encourage you to look up how to knit for left-handers. All right, so got my first stitches a little bit too tight there. All right, so I put my second needle through. I loop the yarn around counterclockwise, draw it up, and put it on the needle. I'm going to do that again, because apparently I was out of frame, or it looks like I ended up out of frame somehow. Loop the yarn counterclockwise, and this is kind of hard to see on this yarn, and I am going to do that 20 times. Yeah, this is really fuzzy yarn, so Mama, if you need a better tutorial on how to cast on with a different type of yarn, either message me or comment on this video, because yeah, this is hard to see. One more time. Put my needle in through the front, loop around counterclockwise, bring it up, and place it on. Alright. I'm having a really hard time staying in frame. I don't know why. Like I said, the struggle is real today. Alright. And I'll see you when I've cast on 20. I know I just said see you when I cast on 20, but I realized I had changed the angle of my camera. That's why I was having such a hard time staying in frame. It's a wonder what camera angles will do for you. So, come in from the front, wrap around, pull up, and like I said, this is probably the worst yarn to show you with, because it is so fuzzy, but it's going to make a nice fuzzy bunny for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to do 10 more off screen now, for reals. Alright, so step number 2, using the garter stitch, knit until your piece is a perfect square. So that should be saying use the garter stitch. So garter stitch just means you're knitting every stitch, and in case you don't know how to knit, just stick your needle in the front, wrap it around counterclockwise, bring it up just like when you cast on, only instead of bringing it back up to put on your first needle here, you pull it off and let it drop off. So stick in the front, wrap around counterclockwise. I went off screen because I'm horrible. Stick in the front, wrap around counterclockwise, draw up, and let it drop off your left-handed needle. Again, I'm saying all this from a right-hand perspective. I'm sure lefties knit a little bit differently. So we're going to do that until we have a perfect square. Okay? Alright, so I've gotten to the point where I have a perfect square. And I know it's a perfect square because, like the pattern says, when I fold up the corners, all the edges meet. So that means it's time to bind off. And I'm going to do a plain knit bind off again. This is for because I started with a knit bind on, I want to do a knit bind off. So I'm going to act like I'm knitting, just plain knitting the first 2 stitches. Once I've got 2 stitches on my right hand hook, I'm going to take, or needle, I'm going to take my left hand needle, try to flip it behind this loop, and use my finger to hold the second loop and flip it over. Again, knit a stitch. I have 2 stitches on my right hand needle. Take my left hand needle to pick up the first stitch and bring it over the second. Again, it's really hard to see that with this yarn. I think this upcoming Saturday, yeah, this upcoming Saturday is Sample Stitch Saturday. I'm going to find a better yarn to show you exactly how to do this. So once we get to the end, I'll show you what to do next. Alright, now that we have our last stitch on our needle, we're ready to cut our yarn. Now this used about half the ball that was in there, I would say. So I could have easily cast on 30. This does represent about an hour of just sitting and knitting, which means when I intersperse doing chores, it took me all morning. Because I interspersed doing chores, and it is now almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Alright. So. Alright. Alright, it says, loosely stitch a triangle shape using yarn and tapestry yarn needle. Well, I think that's what the ribbon in this kit is for. So, in order to make a triangle, I'm going to first fold it in half long ways. And then got my needle here, and it says to loosely weave. So I'm just going to go blindly up and down because I can't see the stitches. I don't even know if I'm alternating every other one like I would if I could see the stitches. Gotta say that for this yarn, I'm glad that I chose to knit it. I can't imagine trying to crochet with this particular yarn just because it is so fuzzy and it is very hard to see the stitches. That's not to say that you couldn't do this pattern as a crochet. If I was crocheting, I wouldn't use this particular yarn. I would use a different yarn. Okay. So that's not really halfway, but so let's try it again. Alright, so that. Got the real way to do halfway. I make mistakes so you don't have to. Alright, so I've got it folded in half, and I'm just trying to follow the fold as closely as possible while not seeing stitches. And I'm trying to do this quick for y'all because I know some of you may already be 10 steps ahead of me, considering I did it wrong the first time. Alright, there we go. Much better. That is halfway. Alright. Now, and then I take a corner and I fold it down to that halfway, and that forms the first side of the triangle. So I do the same thing. I don't know why I pulled my tapestry needle out, but while I've got it folded, I follow that fold as closely as I can without worrying too much about it because, well, stuff like that happens. But also because this yarn is doing a really good job at hiding the ribbon. Which is a shame, because it would be cute if the bunny had a ribbon tied around its neck. Alright. And pull it through. Alright. And then same thing, just other side. Fold it down to where I've got the ribbon. And I follow the fold. Stay in frame, Becca. People like it when you stay in frame. And now, it's kind of hard to see, but it's there, I promise. A triangle made with the ribbon. Okay? Alright. It's at this spot they tell you to weave in your ends. Not the yarn needle I would have chosen for this. I have a yarn needle with a much bigger opening. But I make it work. And again, I would normally follow my stitches when I'm weaving in my ends to better hide my tail, but this yarn is so fuzzy. Number one, I can't do that, and number two, it's not as big of a problem to try to hide it, because the yarn does all the hiding for me. Alright. There we go. Alright, and then it says to place a ball of stuffing. So, that's not even all my stuffing, so I'm going to have some leftover stuffing, I'm sure. Alright, step 4. It says cinch stitches for bunny head. So, what it looks like she's doing in the picture of the pattern, she's got this in one hand, holding the stuffing in there, and just drawing the two pieces of yarn together, or, well, in her picture it's yarn. Right now I'm doing ribbon. And I could see making this out of cotton yarn and leaving the ribbon like as a tie, and basically using this as a really cute washcloth. Alright. Alright. And then it says to stitch up the back. I think it means to stitch up the back of the ears. It's not exactly clear. For a second I was looking for my yarn needle. Alright. Is it wrong that I kind of don't want to really tie him up? And I'll explain why here in just a minute. So I really want this to be a ribbon that goes around his neck. His neck, her neck. Isn't that cute? And then I can probably just for peace of mind double knot it. And then cut the excess. Isn't that cute? And then, alright, it says finish your bunny with a little pom-pom for its tail. Okay. I think I forgot to grab my fork. So I'll be right back. I need to grab a fork. Alright, I've got my fork here. And I think this is why the white yarn was included, to make a little fluffy tail. And if you've never made a pom-pom with a fork before, it is really simple. You just wrap it around the fork as many times as you want. The more, the merrier. Yes, I did go there. I went there. Just wrap, 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 wrap. And I like to leave, yeah, looks like a good amount. Actually, yeah. Then take the end. Often as a mother, I feel like I don't have enough hands. It doesn't happen that often as a crafter, but it does happen. And basically you slip it in between the tines of the fork and down. And it might be a little snug. If you're like me, you do things a little bit snug. And the second time it should go a lot easier. She says, and then it's not going. All right. Okay. Now you could either leave it like this, or tie it off like a pom. It is not wanting to cooperate. I almost said communicate. Both very important C's. Okay, so looking at the picture, I realized that I missed something in the description. So this second part is supposed to be his body. So that gets another little handful of stuffing too. And I'm just going to use this nice long tail that I left myself tail on the tail to finish the tail. I need help, y'all. That's all I can say is I need help. Now, I might have to use some of the blue yarn to finish the other end, because this is going to be just long enough to do the bottom. And again, I'm not doing anything super awesome. I'm just going back and forth. This is my favorite way to seam things because it's simple, it's easy. And again, I could see making this out of cotton and leaving one of these openings open so that you can put soap in, and once it's gone, open it and put more soap in. I hope that makes sense the way I'm saying it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to take a length of this to sew up the back. That's okay. It's just threading this yarn is not the best. Threading it through the needle.
This is a remote.
And that's my reminder to go pick up my daughter. I'm gonna be stopping here soon, but since I'm almost done, and this is just a top stitch. And again, if this were any other different yarn, I'd be worried about it showing, but it's so fluffy it doesn't matter. In fact, I'm worried that the stuffing will come out because I missed a stitch, but it looks like it's going to be fine. All right. And then we have a little adorable bunny. Now the brown thread that they included, I'm assuming is to make a face, which we can do in a later tutorial, but since I'm pressed for time, well, and plus this is already 25 minutes long, you guys are probably ready to go home. I can definitely save that for a later tutorial. I hope you enjoyed making your Stash Buster Bunny. Oh, that's what we'll call him, Buster Bunny. He's my Stash Buster Bunny. He is so cute. I just couldn't, you know, I have enough yarn here. I could probably make another one, possibly. He could have a brother. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm babbling. All right. Love y'all. Thank you, Merry Makers, for joining me today. Join me Wednesday for what you're working on Wednesday. Until then, make what makes you happy or merry.